Agutavach. So another Shabbos passed, which means that in conscious time there was just another evolution, another Hisgalus, another development that wasn't here, another something else untangled itself as we keep pushing, as the Shabbos keeps pushing into a place of the seven midas, a place of a struggle, a place of sometimes confusion, unknown, and another chapter has been cleared, another chapter of uncertainty, another chapter of choshech has been cleared. So today was Shiva'asar Betmuz. No, we didn't get away with it. On the contrary, we're doubling down. Shiva'asar Betmuz is Asar B'Tevis is when the Choma Yerushalayim was circled, and Shiva'asar Betmuz is when the fence around Yerushalayim was broken, has been penetrated, was broken. What does that mean? And how was it broken? What happened? And what are we doing about it? What's the message here? What are we supposed to be doing? What's the signs? The arrows are pointing in what direction? So there's in the Gemara there is a question as to what is the most important pasuk of the Torah. So one man the Omer says Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. The other man the Omer says Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, which is understood. And then when Pazi says that is Esakeves Echatas Baboika Vesakeves Hashem Atasa Ben Raboim. In other words, there was a carbon tamid, a shachris and b'mincha, and that is the most important thing. As the Gemara, why? Why is it the most important thing? It's a carbon. So the answer is because it was done with a kvias. It was done everything. It was a Kabbalah soil. Everything that's done with the kvias is able to it just breaks barriers. It's Kabbalah soil. It's consistency. It rings a bell. Getting up in the morning when we need to. That is key, right? Sometimes the question is, that is going to change my life. That is going to change your life. Yes. This Gaber Kari, getting up and with consistency, whatever you're doing with consistency. So what happened with the carbon tamid? What happened was that there was I think 3 years that the Chayma was surrounded. There was no food. So there was a deal that the Yidden made with whoever was circled came to conquer, that they're going to lower the basket every day, and they would put in a keves that would go into the Beis Hamikdash, until they were told that as long as there's a tamid, a carbon tamid every single day, being makriv in Beis Hamikdash, then you don't stand a chance, because once this yichet is done, you don't stand a chance. So they lowered down the basket of the money, and they put in a chazer, and they couldn't be makar of that, and that's it. The next day, or the same day, they broke the chayma, and 3 weeks later was Tisha B'Av. So what is the chayma? What are we talking about here? We're talking here about that there was a fence that we had. We were circled. We were inside in the chayma of Yerushalayim, and in Yerushalayim there was the Beis Hamikdash, and in there was a Kodesh Kodeshim, which was a direct communication and connection to the highest conscience that we received chiyus from, and there was different layers of protection before you were able to get in there, because our conscience was protected. It's protected from the physical all the way up to the top, Torah, mitzvahs, gzeirus, and all that stuff. Now, what happened is that we understand now that there was a charbon, but really after the charbon Beis Hamikdash, we know that Dalad Amos Shel Halacha, that's where there's Shechina. In other words, we went from being the Beis Hamikdash being the projector and us being the screen, and the tables have turned. We went to becoming the projector, and the world around us is the screen. So we know that everything is Ezer Kenegde. Whatever you see, whatever you are putting up with, whatever is going on in your life, you are projecting. It can't exist if you don't project it. If it's not within you, that can't be. It can be going on. So now we're starting the march to Yerushalayim. I mean, the march to Yerushalayim started the minute you signed up to learning Chassidus, to becoming mindful, taking charge of your life, taking being proactive, the initiative to start and step into getting over, breaking the boundaries, opening up new possibilities, cracking the vessel that you were held and opening that up to expansion. So now is Shiva'as Betmuz. We're starting. The 3 weeks have started today. This is very intense times. It's hot all the way throughout. It's Tammuz is the hottest month of the year. Huge opportunity of development and consciousness because everything comes through Gevuras, everything comes through Tzimtzum. It gets very dry. We're entering in a space of where every Yid is able to go into Kodesh Kodeshim, which happens Tisha B'Av, Asar B'Av. So this is where we're starting the Avodah right now. It's been cooking since Tevis, but right now we're actually preparing. Now, a Tainus is an Eis Ratzon, okay? It's an Eis Ratzon L'Shem. The Rebbe brings it down. Klalos in Tainus Yom Ratzon Lavai Ratzon L'Shem Kedivri Hanavi Asher Gilam Sodi Alavav Hanavim. It's an Eis Ratzon, and when there is an Eis Ratzon L'Mayla, Eis Ratzon L'Eila, of course it happens down here L'Mata, and then of course when you activate it from here, from the bottom, then it does even twice as much on top. It's this week's look at the Torah, Parshas Bolek, where the Alter Rebbe goes into a whole, the famous question, if the Neshama comes from such a high place, from Tachas Kisei HaKavod, what's the point in coming down here? What am I going to accomplish? I can only make things worse. Chas v'shalom. What am I accomplishing? Why take this whole risk of coming into a world that I can end up worse than I started off with? So the answer is that up there we were all in b'machshava. In other words, I have a thought. I feel good about that person. I have tremendous gratitude to that person. But it's all in thought. It's in machshava. When I do a pa'ula about it, when I do something, that's when I'm activating it even more so. It turns into fire. That is the Eish Kodesh. That's the Eish Tomatiket al Mizbeach Lo Yisirba. That is the fire we're talking about. That's when we're bringing down Keser to Chachma Bina. The Neshama comes from Yichud from Chachma Bina, and our avodah is to bring Keser into Chachma Bina through the Midas, which means that we were blown into a space of a soup that you can't see ahead, 1 inch ahead of yourself. The chayma was broken. We've been penetrated. We've been infected with low conscience. We've been infected with das tachten, with all types of spins that is not true. It's all false. It's all a joke. As we said last week, the Zikna Midian were as the Moiranam says in Parshas Tol, is the Vram Zokan Baba Yomim, that the beard, the bard, is something that all the shefa comes down from, and it shows of the wisdom of the person and all the brachas. And the Zikna Midian, the größe, the hechste Fenster for Midian, which means the highest conscience of Klippe, all they have is ksamim b'yodam. All they have is some whispers of some taboo and all types of chazaraya. There's nothing real going on over there. One spark of realness and everything melts away. It's non-existent. And the way you're going to bring that spark in is by within the soup that you're in. You're going to create a distance. You're going to separate yourself. It's called a skafi and a sapche. You're going to separate yourself from the stickiness, from everything else going on around you, and that is by fasting. Fasting tomorrow. It's a very important fast. Shiva'as Betmuz is, according to Chassidus, is just as important as Yom Kippur, as Tisha B'Av. It's an important fast. And as we know in the Chabad consciousness, the Rebbe doesn't do the work for us. We have to do the work. And through that, we have twice as Nis'ala Ma'id. We get even more. If there's anything that you need in your life, now is the time. Now, there's all types of spins, of course. Now, the spins are for the people that are Shivim Panim La Torah. Remember, Torah is going to meet you anywhere you want to go. Torah is going to come and meet you. It's going to come down and play any type of game you want to play with it. You want to look for a heter about this and that, it's going to play with you. But we are people of action. We do it with the tmimus, with an ereskeit. If you can't, you can't, of course. But if you can, then I encourage to do it fast. You have enough time now to drink and prepare yourself for the fast. Emotionally, you're prepared. Spiritually, you're prepared. Physically, prepare yourself. You're prepared there too. Unless if you can't, you can't. Just be real with yourself. I can't, but if you can, do it. It's strong. You're going to see tremendous benefits from it. It's a ceremony. It's a real ceremony. It's a tefillah. It's a prayer. It's a time that we're tapping into beyond the midas. We're going into a place that when I eat and when I do all that other stuff, I'm living through my midas. Here is a moment that you get to tap into something that is higher than emotions, higher than feelings. It's a fast. It's bone dry. It's hot outside. And imkolzeh, you're tapping into something that is high. We're starting to speak the language of Adam ala Elyon, right? Once again, Shnikar Adam Hashem Adam ala Elyon. From my flesh, from my body, I'm going to see higher consciousness. I'm going to see Elokai. I'm going to see Eibishter. And you already have an idea as to what Eibishter is, what we're talking about over here. So and that is his ratzon. That is his ratzon for us to fast. And when any time and every time we align our ratzon with his ratzon, we learned about that Shabbos in the Maimer. Once again, we're getting back to Shabbos. We're still in the Shabbos thing. I mean, we're finishing it because now we're starting the work for 3 weeks, Tisha B'Av, and then we're preparing starting to prepare for what's coming for the summer. But I say, align it. It's the simplest thing. You don't have to figure anything out. Just align your desire with his desire. And from that place, aligning the desire, that's where we start gliding. So the march to Yerushalayim is picking up the pace, and B'ezrat Hashem, everybody will keep up, and we'll get there. Have an awesome week and an easy fast.